Hello and welcome back to a new video. Today's video is all about confidence tips because if you watched last week's video we talked a little bit about this and there were lots of comments about confidence and being told what you can and can't wear and things that we've grown up with that have kind of restricted us into what we feel we can do. And so I wanted to give you some of the confidence tips that have worked for me in the past. And it's quite timely today because I've got a bit of an ear infection. I'm not feeling my best and I didn't have a very good night. So I have used some of these tips in order to make this video for you today. It's a little bit of a mishmash of tips, but hopefully you'll find in there some that you might feel are useful for you. So let's get into the video. So first of all, you might have noticed I'm in a different location today. I'm actually sitting out in my conservatory today because it's quite a dull day and this is the place where we can get the best light. Now I can use my artificial lights, but actually daylight is probably the most flattering light that you can have, especially if it's slightly overcast. So that's why I'm sitting where I am. Now let's start with, let's start at the top and let's talk a little bit about hair. So one thing that always makes me feel confident is if my hair looks good. Now I have a lot of hair and it takes a long time to dry. So it's not something that I want to have to do every day. But I do find that the day after I've washed it, especially my fringe will be quite flat and it doesn't look its best. So sometimes what I will do is literally just wash and blow dry my fringe again, just that little bit at the front, because that's the bit that really shows when it's looking, you know, past its best. The other thing that I do is I've been using a dry shampoo. Now, dry shampoos have been around for years and I've never really got on with them, but I have found one that I really do like, and it's this one. It's by a brand called Living Proof. It was actually developed at MIT in Boston. And this one does actually clean your hair. It doesn't just sort of spray a layer of powder onto it. It does that, but it does actually take the oil out of it as well. And I find when I've used this, it literally looks like I have washed my hair. So it's one that I do highly recommend. Literally takes a couple of seconds to use and it refreshes your style. So that's one of my top products. The other thing which I've used today, because as I said, I didn't have a good night, there are some dark circles under the eyes and my skin was looking a bit dull. So another favourite is this It Cosmetics CC cream. Now, I'm not a big fan of foundations. I used to wear them when I was younger, but I just find they're too heavy now. And so a CC cream is something which I much prefer. And if you don't know, CC creams stands for colour correction. So basically what it does is it corrects the colour of your skin and smooths it out so that you've got a nice even base of colour. So if you do have redness, which I know a lot of women in our age group are prone to, this is a really good product for covering it. They do it in two formulations and I really like the illuminating one, which some people do, some people don't. It has a little bit of a shimmer to it, but I find that I don't like a really matte base. So that little bit of shimmer, or not really shimmer, more of just a kind of a gentle sheen that it gives you, I find really flattering. So I'm using that today. And then an under eye concealer, the one I use is a Tropic one. I will link everything that I'm mentioning in the description box for you so that you can find it easily. And I have gone a little bit heavier on the under eye concealer today. Because I'm on camera, I wouldn't perhaps put quite so much on to go out. But for camera, so again, if you're having photos taken or anything like that, you can go a little bit heavier with your makeup. And then I've also used another product which is a bit of an investment, but it does last forever, and that's a Chanel Healthy Glow powder. It's from the Les Beige range, and I'm using one that has got a little bit of colour to it. So it's giving me a little bit more colour than you would normally expect to have at this time of year. So as we're going into winter, that with that little bit of extra glow to it is really improving the look of my skin. And then of course the final thing, which is really useful when you're having a day when you feel a bit blur, is to go for a slightly brighter lipstick. Now I know not everyone likes bright lipsticks. I've kind of toned mine down a little bit over the last few years, and especially over the last year we've hardly been wearing lipstick. So I would say that if you're not somebody who is particularly good with makeup, you've never worn a lot of makeup, makeup really does give me confidence. I used to be the person who would never go out the door without a lipstick on. In fact, would never really go out without makeup on. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If it gives you extra confidence, then wear it. Wear as much or as little as you feel comfortable with. But I do think just a little bit of makeup can make a huge difference. So things like evening out that base, a little bit of blusher to bring some colour to your cheeks, under eye concealer is always a good one to add in, and a mascara, and then a lipstick that you really like. And it can be a nude one. Nude lipsticks have been popular for so long, and there's lots of lovely ones around. I will link a couple of the ones that I really like. I do like a couple of the lipsticks that are in the Tropic range. I also do like a lot of the lipsticks from Charlotte Tilbury. She does some really good nude ones. But one little tip I would recommend is that you avoid anything that is too matte, because I think especially if you've got any lines or wrinkles around your lips, a very matte lipstick can emphasise those. So you're better to go with something that's got a little bit of a sheen to it. And so today I've gone away from one of my more natural looking lipsticks, and I've decided to go for something a little bit brighter. This one is by Bobbi Brown. I can't remember the name of it, but again I will link it for you in the description box. So that's my first kind of collection of tips, is around sort of hair and makeup. And if you do want some tips on how to do makeup, I have made a makeup video. I will link it for you here. It was kind of a quick everyday makeup. But also I will again link for you two makeup artists who I think are really good for women of our age group. And that is Lisa Eldridge. She does some great makeup tutorials. And the other person that I absolutely love is Wayne Goss. He does some really good makeup tutorials as well. And he's very down to earth. And he reviews products and he says what he really thinks about them. So he's very trustworthy. So I'll link those two for you as well. Now the next kind of set of confidence tricks is, for me, when I go out, in order to feel confident, I have to also feel comfortable. And this comes down to things like wearing the right underwear and making sure that I'm not fidgeting with my clothes because they're uncomfortable. So things like, I like to wear, if I'm wearing a sheer blouse or something like that, I like to wear a bra that is going to give me a really nice smooth line. And I have been asked about bras in the past. I will link the one that I've got on at the moment because it is a nice smooth bra. It's got a little bit of padding in it, and I find those bras are really good if you're going out and it's going to be a bit chilly. You know exactly what I mean. They do give you that little bit of protection. But the ones I like for a really sort of sheer outfit that I want a really smooth line in are these. And this is a bra by a company called Panache. And it's their porcelain elan bra. Again, I will link it for you. It does give a really nice sort of smooth finish underneath sheer clothing. So that's something that I really do like. The other thing which I am a big fan of, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, is big pants. You don't get as many pretty ones in the sort of waist high knickers, but I do like them, again, just because they are comfortable. And again, I like something that gives me a really smooth line. I don't want to be constantly fidgeting with my underwear, because that's really not good for your confidence if you feel like you have to keep adjusting things and you're not comfortable. And as far as that's concerned as well, if you're going somewhere and it's a special occasion and you're perhaps wearing something for the first time, have a quick try on beforehand of everything just to make sure that it all does work. So try sort of moving about. I know that for me, because I have a big bust, I have to be very careful with anything that buttons down the front, that I've got enough room to move so that I'm not gaping and showing my bra, which is why very often you'll see I don't wear things with buttons down the front, because again, I just can't be bothered with the fuss of making sure that, you know, nothing is showing. And also things like skirt lengths, just sit down, make sure that it's not riding up too high so that you feel uncomfortable and you're feeling like you've got to pull it down to give yourself a little bit more modesty. And, you know, check things from every angle. What you can do is take a picture from behind to make sure that everything looks good from behind, that, you know, you haven't got your underwear showing or anything like that. So that's so important to me. And things like if you've got new shoes, make sure that if you're going out for the day in a new pair of shoes, put some little blister pads in your handbag, because nothing's worse than having painful feet and sort of, you know, it shows on your face when you're not comfortable. So all these little things that you can just make sure that you do beforehand so that when you go out, you're looking and you're feeling your absolute best. And as far as clothes are concerned, I talked about this a little bit last week, and again, I will link that video for you. Actually, I think it comes up here. I will link it for you so that if you didn't watch it, you can do. But as far as clothes are concerned, wear what makes you feel confident today. Again, I talked about this a little bit about, you know, if you have got weight to lose or you want to lose weight, buy something that makes you feel good now. Don't wait until you have lost weight. Don't wait until anything, in fact. Just buy things that make you feel good and confident now, because it's so important. It's so important for you to go out of the door knowing that you look your absolute best. And there's a couple of things that you can also do if you're not feeling your best to kind of give the illusion that you are. And one of those, of course, is colour. And I did talk about the fact that I don't really agree with the seasonal approach to colour analysis. That doesn't mean that I don't agree with colour analysis, because I do. And I do think it's important to know which colours really work for you physically, which colours really make you look good. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't wear other colours if they make you feel confident, but there are a few tips as far as colours are concerned, and one of them is, if you want to light up your face a little bit, then your best white is a really good way to do that. And by white, I mean everything from kind of pure white through to sort of cream or stone. And it really depends on your skin tone, which is going to be best for you. Now, if you haven't been colour analysed, you might not know which is your best white. If you have, you'll have a white or a version of white in your colour palette. So the easiest thing to do if you don't know is get several different pieces of white cloth and just hold them up to your face in front of a mirror and see which one lights up your face. So for me, my best white is more of a sort of creamy white, not a pure white. It's one that's got a little bit of warmth in it, because I do have a warm skin tone, and you'll see that immediately by putting that colour, it kind of lights up my face. So it's a really good way to make me look a little bit more healthy and glowy, is to have a good white up close to the face. Now, you can do this with things like jewellery and scarves as well. So a set of pearls is a really good idea, and again, get the pearls in a good white for you. Find out which is your best one, and again, try holding them up to your face and see which ones look really good. And as well as white, you're bound to have a couple of colours which look fantastic on you. Now for me, I have the same top in 2 colours because I love the shape of the top, but also I have it in 2 of my best colours. So this kind of warm red is really good on me. And then another absolute favourite is a chocolate brown because it really works with my dark eyes and it brings the colour of my eyes out. So if I'm going to an event and I know that I want to feel confident and I want to look good, I might pick one of those colours to wear. And of course the other easy way to do this, and I talk about this all the time, is with a scarf. So again, this has got lots of my good colours in it. This is one of our new scarves in which I will try and get on the website before this video goes out. So it's got a lot of my good colours in it, and just bringing that up close to the face is a really good way to light up the face by wearing your best colours close to your face. And again, here's another one that works really well for me. It's got, turn it over, it's got that warm red in it, which is good on me. It's got a kind of goldy colour in it. Because it's on the slightly darker end of the depth scale, again, it works for me because it works with my dark eyes. So even if you haven't got clothing that is in fabulous colours for you, perhaps find one scarf that is absolutely brilliant in mix of colours, that when you hold it up to your face, it really makes you glow. Because what happens is when you've got good colours up close to your face, the attention is drawn to your face. So if you're not feeling particularly confident about your body, what you want to do is draw attention away from those areas that you're not confident in. And this is another tip which I have shared in the past, is make sure that you put the attention on the bits that you want people to see. So for me, I don't put pockets on my bust because I want to draw the attention away from them. I will wear things on my legs because my legs are my slimmest part of my body. I'm quite happy to show them off. I like decorative shoes because comparatively I have slim ankles. So I'm always drawing attention to those pieces of me that I'm happy for people to look at, and then, you know, draw attention away from the bits that you don't want people to look at. So if you don't want people looking at your hips and bottom, then don't put detail there or too much pattern there. Perhaps go with a darker colour and bring the pattern up to your face or to the area that you do want to draw attention to. If you've got a lovely slim waist, then, you know, a belt will draw attention to that. So think about those areas where you want people to look and those areas where perhaps you don't, and think about how you can direct attention where you want it and take it away from where you don't want it. And one other little tip about clothing is where I showed you with the scarf, so lines going down will always lengthen, lines going across will cut or widen. So if you want to make something look shorter, then a line going across, or perhaps where a jacket ends or where you put a belt, is going to shorten or cut that part of the body. So if you have a particularly long body and you want to make your legs look longer, then you want to have a jacket that's going to be slightly shorter, or a top that's going to be slightly shorter, because then where it cuts across the body, you're drawing the eye to that point and then making the bit below it look longer, if that makes sense. So for me, because I am quite short-waisted, I've got longer legs than I have in the top half of my body, so I will tend to wear a slightly longer length top so that it balances that out and makes the top half of my body look slightly longer. If you've got short legs and you want to make them look longer, then don't have anything that sort of distracts the eye by cutting across it. So if you do want to wear cropped trousers, which is going to have a cut across the leg, make sure that you keep the tights and the shoes the same colour as the trousers, so that you're diminishing that cut across the leg. Again, if you want to look taller and slimmer, keeping everything one colour without too many cuts down the body, perhaps a dress in one colour and then your tights in the same colour, shoes in the same colour. Obviously you can add perhaps a scarf or a necklace or something like that if you want to add in some other colour, but that will give the illusion of a longer, leaner length as well. You've probably heard about this column of colour and it really does work. So think about some of those what I call smoke and mirrors tips that help you to either lengthen bits of the body, draw attention away and focus on the bits that you want people to look at. And then a final couple of tips. Now, I know a lot of women hate having their photo taken, and believe me, I do understand this, because this is something that I have really had to get used to over the last however long I've had my blog, 10 years or something, when I started taking photos of myself to put on my original Looking Stylish blog, and it wasn't something that I felt comfortable doing, and I did explain a little bit about that last week. But I've had to get used to taking photos and feeling comfortable taking photos, and there are a couple of little tricks that you can use. Now, I'm no photography expert, but you will notice, so there was a lot of fuss a little while ago about the way that Victoria Beckham stood in a dress that had a slit where she had her leg poked out. And this is actually a clever trick, because she is, I think she's about 5'4" or something like that. So she's kind of average height. But by wearing this long dress and then having a long slit in it and pushing her leg to the front, anything that is closer to the camera is going to look bigger. So what she was doing there was making her legs look longer. And you'll quite often see this if you look, say, on Instagram and scroll through some pictures of perhaps some of the bloggers who are used to having their photos taken and have learnt some of these tricks, especially if it's a swimsuit photo, you'll see that the camera is nearer to their legs and it makes their legs look really long, and the body that is angled away from it looks slimmer. And also another clever trick is to angle your body to the camera and perhaps leaning in a little bit so that your face is closer to the camera and your body is further away. And you'll see quite often when I take photos, I'll pop a couple in here for you, my body is slightly angled. I quite often have one leg crossed in front of the other because, again, it makes it all look slimmer. So there are a few little tricks that you can use when you're having photos taken, and just, you know, don't worry about it. Practice some poses in front of the mirror and have those ready for when there's a group photo shot, or, you know, if somebody wants to get a picture of you, so that you know what your best angles are, so that when there is a photo opportunity and somebody wants to get a photo of you, you're not feeling uncomfortable about it. You've got those little tricks and tips ready so that when the camera comes out, you can smile into it and enjoy having your photo taken. So that's just a little tip for you, hopefully to make it a little bit easier to have photos taken. So that's everything I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. If you want to get more personalised tips and tricks from me, then the one place that you can do that is within the Stylish at 50 community. This week I'm actually putting a post together for one of the members who wants some new outfits to wear over the autumn, winter and into Christmas. So I do offer a kind of style dilemma service within there that I share with the other members because it helps them as well. So if this is something that you would like to get involved in and you would like some personalised help from me, then it is at the moment the one way that you can do it, other than my colour service, which is still available. I will link that for you. But at the moment I'm not doing any other personal services because I just don't have the time to do them. The one place that I can do that is within the Stylish at 50 community. So I will link that for you. It does have lots of tips and information. A lot of what I've talked about today is within there, within a whole course that is called the Stylish at 50 system. And you also get my weekly wardrobe, so it's the weekly capsule wardrobe as well. I'll link all the details because there's a lot included in there, but as I say, it's the one way that you can get personalised help from me if you would like it. If you have any comments, then please leave them down in the comments section. Anything that you might think a great tip that might help another viewer, then please leave that as well. Also, if you like this video and you think it would be helpful to somebody else, then please do share it as well. I'd be really grateful. If there's anybody else that you think would be interested in Stylish at 50, again, then please do share. And other than that, I shall look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.